The Spurs are obviously patient and careful with the development of their players. Wembanyama has a usage of 30.7% per Basketball Reference, which is extremely high. Now, the question is this, guys. Are the Spurs just doing this thing where they're letting him figure out his game and, they don't want to hamper his growth and creativity? Or, which I think is what they're actually doing. Or would it be better to efficiently integrate the player into a system more like what the Thunder do with Chet? And now part of that, and this is now me adding on to the end, part of that is you don't have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You don't have Jalen Williams in San Antonio. So part of this is roster construction. But if they had their choice, do you guys think that they would rather have some good player, a couple of, let's say, league average starters to play with him and maybe make his job a little easier?
If it's interesting, if you look at kind of his in the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks when Trey Jones has been starting, his usage is actually up. It's like 34, but his efficiency is way up. Now, correlation, causation, blah blah blah. But I think, I think just let him eat all he's hungry for. And I think that we are seeing that you put him with someone who I don't think Trey Jones is like a high level NBA starting point guard or anything, but just like we talked about with Utah, just the having the competent table setter. And then as he's sort of getting more comfortable with the league, I think, let him work the stuff out. If he wants to explore the studio space on like 1 foot runners, watch the landing area. But other than that, like I'm for where they are, I'm fine with it.
Dave, real quick, what was his usage again?
30.7.
That's all? Needs to be higher. Like just go. Like that's all I want to see. Just let him go and have the keys. This team's a disaster. I think I think we have to kind of just look at the fact that I love the Spurs organization, but that was organizational negligence with what they did in terms of not bringing in a legitimate point guard. I think it stunted the growth for a lot of guys in that sense. Wemby's so talented, it won't really stunt his growth, but I think the other guys, it's hurt them as players and whatnot. I'm very tired of the comparisons between them and Oklahoma City because they are totally on two different tracks in terms of or where they're at in their rebuild versus Oklahoma City's pretty much done with the rebuild and is now competing. I think is the way we should kind of look at it. I think I think they're trying to go about this season, and this part I kind of agree with. Let's see all that he can do. Let's let him put everything out on the table, and then we could start to reel him in instead of put him in a box. And I think that's probably the smart way to start with his development. But I think a key part of that would have been having smart players around him. And I think that's why you're hearing now little flirtations of, they might bring DeJounte Murray back. Or, I've been banging on the drum. Malcolm Brogdon would be a pretty interesting guy for them. I think I think that's kind of needs to be the focus so that they can continue to let him flourish.